Hello and welcome to this video for Excel Chapter 3 Mid-Level Exercise number 2. We're on page 592 of your textbook, page 592, and I'm going to get started reading the information while you're getting turned there. You are a teaching assistant for Dr. Monica Eunice's introductory psychology class. You have maintained your gradebook all semester, entering 3 test scores for each student and calculating the final average. You created a section called Final Grade Distribution that contains calculations to identify the number of students who earned an A, B, C, D, or F. Dr. Eunice wants you to create a chart that shows the percentage of students who earn each letter grade. Therefore, you decide to create and format a pie chart. You also create a bar chart to show a sample of the students' test scores. Furthermore, Dr. Eunice wants to see if a correlation exists between attendance and students' final grades. Therefore, you will create a scatter chart depicting each student's percentage of attendance with his or her respective final grade average. So first off, it says to open up this file, Excel Chapter 3 Mid-Level 2 Psych. And I know you know that you need to save the file with a different name. So of course we're choosing Save As, we choose Browse, we go to the appropriate folder that you need to save it in. For you it's your flash drive. And of course we're adding underscore last name, first name. And then step B, create a pie chart from the final grade distribution data located below the student data in the range F38 through G42. So F38 through G42. So it looks like F38 is right here. I have to go down final grade distribution and select this information right here. And of course we're creating a pie chart. So we click insert. And it looks like it just says to create a pie chart. There's no specific thing to it. So I click on pie chart in the group and then of course do 2D. I click on that. Now if your chart is not showing up the correct way, more than likely you selected the wrong data. So if yours is not showing up as it is in my video, check your selection first, try to make another chart, and if it doesn't work then seek extra help or check your textbook. Step C, customize the pie chart with these specifications. But before we do that, we actually need to move it to its own sheet. So I'm going to click Move Chart up here in the location group. We are going to click New Sheet, and the new sheet is going to be named Grades Pie. We would all like a piece of that pie, some good grades. I push the Enter button. It creates that new worksheet for me. That looks like this. Now we're going to customize it. It says Apply Style 7 Chart Style. So I'm going to click the More arrow and then hover over these to see which one it is. So this is 2. It looks like this is Style 7 right here. So Apply Style 7. Then it says type PSY to the 2030 final grade distribution fall 2018. So I'm going to click up here and of course type in that information. So PSY 2030 final grade distribution fall 2018. And then I push enter. And it says to explode the B grade slice by 10. So before we did this, we click on it once. You see it selects all of them. We click on it one more time. It selects just that one. I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to choose Format Data Point. And then you can see over here we have the option of Point Explosion. So this button right here is selected, the series option, Point Explosion. And I click in here and I put in the 1 for 10%. I push enter and you can see it exploded, so separated it from the rest 10%. And that says we need to remove the legend. So what we can do is we can go up here to Chart Elements, click on that, go down to where it says Legend, click on the box, and of course it gets rid of it. Alright, we're on step D. It says Add Centered Data Labels. So we're going to add data labels. So I'm going to click on the chart elements again. I'm going to choose data labels, except I am going to click on this triangle over here and choose center. So center data labels. Oh, you know what? I actually need to select the rest of it. I only had this one selected. Click on the rest of the chart here to select these data points. Choose data labels, and of course, okay, let me do this. It's kind of goofy with selecting it. So here we go. I had to click outside of my chart, click back in, and now it's selected all the data points here. Now I can do this. I'm going to choose data labels once, and I'm going to choose it again, except I am going to click the triangle and center. So if it only did it for one, you may need to click outside of the chart, click back on the data points, so you can get the data labels there. And then it says display these data labels, percentage, and category name. So I'm going to go and I'm going to format it again here. So let's check. There's effects, film border. So let's click format data labels again. Here we go, and this is giving us some more options for it. And it says for them we want to display them as percentage. So let's click number, and category set to general. We're going to choose percentage from category. So right there, category, we change to percent. And then of course up here we have our label options. We need percentage. Oh, there we go, percentage. And we need category name. And that says to uncheck the other one. So let's remove value and show leader lines. And then it says change the font size to 20. So right now these are selected. I'm going to click on chart elements to get that away. I'm going to choose home option. Right now they're all selected, so this will have an effect. Changing it to 20. Push enter. And then it says to change it to, for font color, I'm changing it to black. And it looks just like that. Step E. It says we need to create a clustered bar chart using range A7 through D12. So I'm going to click on the grades worksheet. I'm going to go up because I need range A7 through D12, I believe. Yes, that looks to be correct. So you can see on my screen it looks like this. If you need to, make this video full screen, see what it says, and then go back and do it, or of course look at your textbook. And I'm going to hover over with my mouse. I'm going to click on the quick analysis tool. I'm going to choose charts, and then I'm choosing the clustered bar chart. So it should be, I believe, this one right here, because this is a bar chart, this is column. So bar, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it like we did last time. So I move up here, move chart, I click on new sheet, and then it says we want to name it students bar charts. I push enter, it's going to move it for me, and it's going to look like this. Step F, it says we're going to customize it. First off, we need to apply style 5 chart style. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's check. Style 5. I click on it. Then it says type student test scores for chart title. So I click on the chart title, and then I type in student test, or excuse me, sample student test scores. I push enter, and it applies that title. It says position the legend on the right side. So I'm going to go to add chart element, legend, and I'm choosing right. And it says add data labels in the outside position for the final exam data series. So add chart element, data labels, and outside end position. And you can see I just do a quick click on add chart elements and do from there. We were doing it another way earlier. And it says arrange the categories in reverse order so that Atkin is listed at the top and Etherington is listed at the bottom of the bar chart. And the way we can change it here is we right click on here and we're going to choose Format Axis. And then you can see when we choose that, this comes up. If this button isn't selected, Axis Options, do select that. And then you're going to notice down here it's about, or let me make sure I have the right thing. Here we go. Under Axis Position, we're choosing Categories in reverse order. If you click on that, it'll switch it for what we want. Then it says step G is we're going to create a scatter chart using range E7 through F33. So I'm going to go back here to the grades worksheet, and then I'm going to select E7, so it looks like right here, through F33. So I got to go down a ways, and I let go of the mouse. So this information is selected. So starting up here with the headers, and then going down to row 33. And I have to create that scatter chart, so I choose Insert, and then I'm just going to go ahead and click on the dialog box launcher, and I'm going to choose All Charts, and then I have all my different options here, and we have the X and Y scatter chart, so click right here for that, and we got our different options of it. So scatter with smooth lines. It looks like it just says scatter chart, so we're just going to leave it as is right here. And we're going to click OK. And of course we're moving it to a new part, so I click Move Chart, and of course I click New Sheet. Oh, let me try this again. This is supposed to be named differently. For the name, you can type it in if you did it the correct way. I'm going to have to rename mine because I either actually double clicked or something of that nature. I'm going to choose Scatter Chart. For the name, I push Enter, and now it's the appropriate name. Alright, step H, we apply these label settings to the scatter chart. It says we should remove the legend, which it looks like we don't actually have a legend. So let me click Chart Elements. Yeah, we don't have a legend. If you do have a legend, get rid of it. And then it says for the chart title, so I'm going to click on it, we need to change it to Attendance Final Average Relationship for the chart title. I'm going to push Enter and it'll change that for me. Then it says add the following primary horizontal axis title. So I'm going to do Add Chart Element and then Axis Title, primary horizontal. And so I go down here, this is selected, and I'm going to type in percentage of attendance. And I push Enter, so percentage of attendance. And then we're going to add a primary vertical title. So I click on Add Chart Elements again, Axis Titles, primary vertical as well. So you can see that comes up. And I'm going to change this one to Student Final Averages. Student Final Averages right here. And then we're on step I. It says use help to learn how to apply the following axis settings. Now remember, for help, it's right up here. Now for you, it's kind of scrunched up. You're going to see a magnifying glass. It's right next to the Format tab here on mine. And this is what's talking about for help. And pretty much when you use help in Excel or any of the Microsoft Office apps, you type kind of the idea of what you want to do, and it should help you and figure out how to do it. So it says for the vertical axis, it's wanting to set minimum bound, maximum bound, all that. So I'm going to try here, and we're going to see if we can get it to come up. We may have to do it normally, but vertical axis. And you got shapes and this. You got Add Chart Element. I'm going to try minimum. Let's see what comes up with that. You know what, let me I'm going to try change axis labels. I click on that for help. and it gives an explanation. So for right now, we're just going to exit out of that. If you do need help, sometimes you can get it to come up that way, and so that's why it's having you do it. I'm just going to go ahead and do it this way. We go over to the vertical axis. Remember, it's these numbers right here, and if I hover over it, it shows it to me in the screen tip. You'll notice also my mouse is on the number. I right-click on that, the specific number. It doesn't have to be this one, but one of the numbers, and I'm going to choose Format Axis. And of course, that brings up to me here the different options here. I probably could have typed in Format Axis up here, and it would have done too. It says for the minimum bound, it should be 40. Right now it's 0, so I'm going to type in 40 and push enter. And then it says 100 maximum bound, so I'm going to switch that here too. I push enter, so switch those two right there. And then for units, it says for major needs to be 10. It's already there. And a number format with 0 decimal places. So display units here. So let me check. I think we need 0 decimal places. So we go down to number here. We may have to check another spot here. I don't think this will actually make a difference. For right now, we should be good. I'm checking here. Yeah, this is just our text fill. So we should be good when it comes to that. Then here it says horizontal axis. We are going to do the same thing. So I go down here to these numbers. I'm going to click once. You can see this whole bar is selected here. I'm going to right click, choose Format Axis. And then for this one, you can see we got to do some of the same things again. I changed it to 40 for minimum bound by typing it in and then pushing enter. I want this to be 100, so I push backspace, type in what I want, push enter. And then of course, it's set to automatic units. So display units. And of course, this shows these options, but it looks like we just leave it how it is on automatic. And it should look something like this. Alright, so we have all our different things here. And we're moving on here to step J. It says we need to change the font size of the vertical axis. So it's this one over here. So I move my mouse over here, click on it. Oh, excuse me, vertical axis title as well. So let's start with there. To 12. So I click on that. I change it to 12. It says we need to change the vertical axis. That's these numbers right here. I click on it once. And I go up here and change it to 12. And then horizontal axis title. So I'm going down to here. And then I'm going to change it to 12. And then horizontal axis, these numbers right here I click on, and I change it to 12. Step K, add parchment texture fill to the plot area. So I click here, and I should, yeah, with a screen tip, this is the plot area, so you can see this is selected. I'm going, and right over here, my task pane, it gives me some different options. I'm going to click on the fill one. I'm going to choose fill, and I'm going to go to picture or texture. And of course, I go down to where there's texture. I click on this, and I look for the option. It says we're looking for parchment, which I'm going to guess it's stationary. You kind of just have to look around and see. It's recyclable parchment. So right over here is the one. So it's to the far right. That's how you do it. Then step L, it says insert a linear trend line. So let's go and click. I'm going to click on the chart area again here. I'm going to click up here on design. And then I'm going to click add chart element. And then we go down to trend line. And we've got a couple options. And we have linear. So I'm going to select that. Step M, we're getting very close to the end here of this exercise. Good job hanging in there. It says insert line spark lines in range H8 to H33. So I'm going to go back to the grades worksheet, and I'm going to select those cells. So H8, so right here, so you can see trend H8 through, I'm just going to go down H33. I'm going to the insert group, or insert tab, excuse me. I'm going over to the sparklines group, and I'm going to choose line. It says choose the data that you want. And of course, it's wanting to see a trend here in reference to the attendance. With the grade. So what I'm going to do here, we have our location selected, so that is good. We do need to select the information, so really it comes down to the attendance record there, and using the 3 test score columns. So we got Unit 1 test, Unit 2, and Unit 3. So I'm going to select these 3 columns, and I'm just going to go down through 33. So B8 through D33 is what comes up in mine. And then I'm going to click OK. Alright, you can see we got a trend line showing up there. It says change the sparkline color to purple. So I'm going to go to design, sparkline color, oh, right here. Oh, I clicked on the wrong thing. Sparkline color, purple from our standards color. Anytime it throws out a name without an accent. And it says we need to show the low points. So right here, show the low points. Then, what we need to do is it says we need to insert a footer on all the sheets. So I'm going to go through, hold down Control, and click on the other sheets that aren't selected to make them into a group. So you can see they're all selected now. I go to the Page Layout tab. I move to Page Setup Group. I click the dialog box launcher. I'm going to click header and footer, and I'm going to choose custom footer. And of course, in the left section, we put your name. And then in the center section, we're choosing sheet name. In right section, we're choosing file name. There. I'm going to click OK. Because now we have put it in there, and click OK again. And this is how it should look. So I'm going to go over these for you here. You can see this is how the trend line should look, or spark lines with the gradebook. I do need to ungroup these. I did forget that. So I just click once and it ungroups it. This is how your scatter chart should look. This is how your student's bar chart should look. And then of course this is how the grades pie should look here. So go through and check them. I would recommend pushing F7 for a spell check, just because if you weren't watching closely enough when you were typing, that's a great way for you to check without investing a lot of time. And of course, that is how you complete Excel Chapter 3 Mid-Level Exercise number 2.